Cool. Good morning, everybody. Looks like we've got some attendees coming through now.
Hi everyone, good to see you. Yeah, more and more attendees are dropping in, so that's good.
Apologies if you heard our fire test alarm there. Thursday at 10 o'clock. Worked here for 8 years, but still managed to forget that happens every Thursday.
Ah, no, we
So,
didn't hear it.
okay, that's good. So, hello everybody that has already joined us. While we're just going to wait for everybody else to come in, I just want to check that everybody can hear me, see me, as well as Jan. So if you can just pop into the chat that where you're dialing in from, and it would also be really good to know if you are a GS1 member, and probably even how long you've been a member for. Are you a new member? Have you been around a while? Yeah, be good to get to know who we've got in the audience this morning. No one's put anything in the chat, so that's making me worry that you can't hear me.
I can hear you, Lorna.
That's good. One person can hear me. Everybody's just waking up then, I guess.
If we can get one confirmation.
Yeah, yeah. Ah, sunny Nottingham. Oh, no, I was going to say you're doing better than London, but I can see it at the top between the buildings. We have got some sun here. Member since early 2025. Okay, so nearly a year. So that's good. Um, Pat Kai Tea, lovely. Hampton Brand's been a member since 2008. Nice. You've been around a while. Longer than I've been at GS1, actually. 10 years longer than I've been at GS1. Member since 2023. Okay, that's good. At least we know that everybody can hear. See how we're doing on attendees. But while we're waiting, I'll just do some housekeeping. We're going to cover a webinar this morning. If you've got any questions, if you can put them into the Q&A section, just because when they go into the chat, they're a bit hard to track whether they've been answered. Whereas in the Q&A section, I can mark that they've been answered. I can assign them over to Jan, and we can just, everything goes a little bit smoother. So put them in there. Anything that's like housekeeping, logistical, I will be on the chat to be able to answer any of those. But anything to do with the topic or whatever, we'll probably wait and put those over to Jan at the end. So, what time are we on? 3 minutes past. Okay, let's get started. So, as most of you are members, which is really good to know, I am Lorna, one of the industry engagement managers for Marketplace team at GS1. So, it's my job to look after you guys and help you understand how you use our standards on marketplaces. And so, what we've done is teamed up with some various different businesses within the ecosystem, Operator One being one of those, to give you a bit more flavour on what it's like on other different marketplaces. So we've got Jan here today. He's going to be speaking about scaling across Europe. But we want to know about where you're at, like what you're thinking in terms of your scaling to Europe. So we're going to put a poll up just to see how you're going on that scaling plans, and if you've got issues with that, what is holding you back, basically. So you should see it on screen now. I can see it, so hopefully you guys too. So basically, give that a tick. Let us know what the issues are that you're having, and it will help Jan be able to understand what questions we're probably going to get in. Okay, what we've got coming through. I was going to say lack of resources was leading the way, but it looks like the VAT complexities. Okay, changing a little bit. Questions are coming in now. Oh, okay. So we're tied between. Every time I go to say it, it changes. No, it's still the VAT leading the VAT complexity is leading the way. Okay. Yeah, get that answered. That helps us for any questions by the end as well. Without further ado, let's get into the meat of the webinar. So what I'm going to do is pass over to Jan. He's going to do his introduction and take us through the webinar this morning. Thank you for being here. Hi, Jan.
Hi, Lorna. Thanks for having me, and looking forward to today's sessions to help the UK brands and businesses to understand what it means to launch your business or expand it into the European marketplaces. So very excited. Quickly about me, I'm Jan Jelle, but you can call me Jan to make it really easy. And I'm responsible for the whole commercial side within Operator One. And as a company, we help brands to launch and scale on European marketplaces with an end-to-end solution. So today we're going to talk about scaling on marketplaces in Europe and specifically how to avoid those EU complexities. So what I see here in the poll, you can move them now. Oh, I can click them away myself. There are a variety of complexities and roadblocks on the way to help you expand on the marketplaces in Europe. And that's really common. Everyone will face the same challenges. Some have more difficulties with the VAT, some have more difficulties with the local language, but it's there. I'm not going to lie, it's not an easy exercise, but hopefully after the session of today, you have a bit more understanding of how to manage those complexities. On the agenda, we'll walk through those challenges briefly to understand, okay, this is what is out there. Then I will walk you through a marketplace blueprint. So if you want to establish a European marketplace business, what do you need to have in place to get set up? Then there's also an alternative way in how to go live in weeks. And we have a client case from Target, which is the famous Darch brand. So probably known within the UK market. But I will go through everything. At the end, we will round it off with a Q&A. So let's kick it off. Quickly about us, Operator One, we're a company that helps brands to launch and expand on European marketplaces so that they are able to unlock the potential that is out there. We do this by offering a merchant of record solution that basically offers the full infrastructure that you would need in order to get set up, so that you don't have to deal with all the complexities, but you can just focus on your brand and your products and growing your business. We are integrated with over 100 marketplaces, and we operate with 2 warehouses, one in Germany and one in the Netherlands, to also support on the operational side. Enough self-promotion for now. Let's dive into the topics. But let's start it off. Why you cannot really ignore marketplaces in Europe in 2026? Well, basically, you couldn't ignore them in 2025 or 2024 even. But the potential is out there. The EU market consists of 450 million consumer market, so bigger than the US all combined. Those consumers like to start their shopping journey on marketplaces, so they just open up Amazon, open up bol.com, see a discount, or any marketplaces of their preference to look up the product, see the offer, and buy it. And what we see currently, 2/3 of the cross-border e-commerce sales comes from marketplaces. And basically, these numbers just grow year over year, which is also the reason why all the brands have the appetite to get listed on the marketplaces. To give you a slice of the German market, and it's pretty significant. As you can see, 74% of the complete e-commerce business is going through marketplaces, and a staggering 63% is going through Amazon alone. So Amazon, of our Germans like Amazon, that's for sure, but in general, customers like marketplaces. Also, Amazon sees the potential and recently announced a 2.4 billion investment in the Benelux market alone. So it's going fast, and they try to catch up also with the local players like bol.com, just to win more market share. but the customers are there, and it's a way on how to win those. All right, but let's go into the challenges. What makes Europe so complex? As you can see, there are many marketplaces out there. Really specifically per country, there are different marketplaces that are in the lead. Amazon is the dominant player in the major 4 countries, so Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. But within those countries, you also have the local players like Kaufland in Germany, Cdiscount in France. But if you consider different countries, there are also different marketplaces that are leading. So for example, bol.com in the Netherlands. But if you want to target the Polish market, Allegro is by far the market leader. And then Amazon is really trying to catch behind. But they're having some challenges in these markets. But if you want to open up multiple marketplaces in different countries in Europe, everyone will face the same roadblocks. And we already saw it in the polls. There's not one, there's one leading, but you have to challenge all those roadblocks. So as a brand, first of all, you need to be able to speak the different languages. So deal with all the different languages from different markets you want to serve. On content, on your listings, so make sure that everything is translated, it has the right keywords, but also on customer support. So you need to be able to offer local language replies to the customer queries. Then on top, you have to be able to deal with different currencies. So we not only have the euro, but we also have zlotys in Poland. We have krones in the Nordics. So that's something that some businesses have challenges with. Then there's the VAT complexity. So each country has its own VAT, but also its own VAT level. So in Germany, it's 19%, in the Netherlands, it's 21%, and that varies per country. But what is very important is that everywhere you want to store and ship your products from, you need to have your fiscal entity. So shipping it from the Netherlands across whole EU, the Dutch entity will be sufficient. But if you're gonna also wanna service the southern part of Europe by offering shorter lead times, lower shipping cost, and you want to store it from, for example, Spain, then you would need to have your Spanish fiscal entity. Then there's something called EPR compliance. It's not familiar to everyone, but it's really important. It's basically the eco tax that you have to pay. You have to be registered to each individual government. So you need to have your registrations, but each government has its own set of rules, set of costing, and way to register for this compliance. But really dealing with marketplaces requires this registration. And then finally, you need to be able to fulfill your products, of course, to the end consumer, and ideally within 1 or 2 days across whole EU. So these are the main challenges, yeah, it's not easy, as you can see. But let's go into the building blocks that you need to consider if you want to establish a EU marketplace business. So as you can see, there are different building blocks. I'm going to walk you through all of them piece by piece to give you a bit more context. And let's start with the strategy part. So always have a strategy first before you execute. And when it comes to marketplaces, understand which countries first have the highest potential for you. Usually, brands like to start in Germany and France because those are the biggest e-commerce countries with the highest population. But also take into account where is your brand awareness. So if you're very known in the Benelux, yeah, leverage this. But also take into account where is the product demand. So maybe Italian consumers have a different need than Nordic consumers. What we do, we have different toolings to understand the markets. So for example, we have Helium 10 to see, okay, what is the search volume on a product type? So you see really on a monthly scale, how many people are looking on it, looking for it. But you can also look, okay, how many people are really searching for my brand? So this gives you some confirmation on your brand awareness within the market. On top, we have different other toolings to showcase, hey, what is the Amazon category doing? So how big is your category? Who are the main brands? Who are the top sellers? What's the average price point? So this gives you an understanding of the market that you're going to step into and if you're able to compete on price, but also on quality and offers. If you have selected the country, then you want to check, okay, which marketplaces within those countries would be relevant for my brand and my products. So you do have the generic marketplaces like Amazon, like bol.com, like Kaufland, but you also have the industry specific or the vertical specific marketplaces like Zalando for fashion, like Decathlon for sporting goods. But really consider, okay, what marketplaces are within this country relevant for me. Then, super important, you want to have a profitable business. So really do your calculations and really do it on marketplace and country level. Because selling in France and in Germany means different VAT levels, different shipping costs, different warehousing costs, different commissions that you have to pay to the marketplaces, and maybe a different price point. So do your due diligence on all these three topics, that you are sure that you have the right strategy in place before you really start executing. Then compliance, most boring but most important piece, I would say. So it starts with the product compliance team. Your products must be EU compliant, so make sure you have the right certifications, you have the right labeling, the right languages on the product, to save yourself some headaches in the future. On top, make sure that you have a trademark. It's a way different game to do white label products. It also has much more limited ways to promote yourself within the marketplaces. So really take the advantage of a trademark and build your brand. Then EPR, as we already briefly discussed, make sure you have your registration within those countries that you want to target. And then finally, there's responsible person. This is basically an entity that is liable for all your products that are being sold within the EU. So in case it starts exploding or being poisonous or whatever, the EU regulators like to have someone to talk to. So this is a required piece to have in place. All right, then the fiscal part. As said, so if you want to store and ship your products from one country, let's say the Netherlands, across whole EU, a Dutch VAT will suffice. But this means that you have longer shipping times to the other parts of Europe, but also higher shipping costs. So in that case, you might want to consider an FBA model. So that's the fulfilled by Amazon. They have all their warehouses across Europe. You ship your products in bulk to one of their warehouses and they do the local fulfillment. This will allow you to have short lead times, have a good ranking because Amazon prefers the FBA model, but also lower shipping cost. But from a fiscal point of view, it's very important that everywhere your products might be stored, you do have your fiscal entity. Unfortunately, Amazon makes mistakes as well. So although you don't have your entity, for example, in Italy, they ship one box to Italy, you're required to open up a fiscal entity in Italy. And recently, Italy announced they require a 50K deposit for opening a VAT in Italy. That can be a significant mistake. So make sure that this is in order. On top of that, you need to report the movement of your goods across whole EU between the different countries. That is called intrastat reporting. And that is required on a monthly basis. So when we have the compliance, the fiscal piece in order, you want to consider the IT infrastructure, because working with more than one marketplace, really we advise to do stuff not manually anymore by logging into the marketplace Seller Central, but use the IT that is out there. So what we recommend overall is a marketplace integrator. So this is a piece of software that connects all the marketplaces into one central point where you manage everything basically on a day-to-day. On top, you would like to have a PIM system. This is your content database. That is basically your only source of truth to manage all the content that is distributed over the different platforms. Then you want to have some dashboarding to see, hey, what is the development on the different marketplaces, on the different SKUs you're selling. You want to have some advertising tooling to optimize your bids to make sure that you don't pay too much and that you sell, obviously. And on top, also you need to have your WMS for your warehouse and a VAT reporting system to do the VAT filing. So that's the IT infrastructure. Once you know where you want to go, which countries, which marketplaces, you also can define, okay, how do I want to operate? And there are different flavors in it. One important thing to mention, if you're not based in the EU and you want to ship your products into the EU, you will need to have an importer of record. So that's an important one. But once your products are there and are stored, for example, in your 3PL or your own warehouse or in Amazon FBA, well, you need to consider, how do I want to fulfill my products? Is it from my 3PL straight to the end consumer? Do I want to leverage the FBA network from Amazon? It can be a hybrid model that for country A, you ship yourself, and for country B, you use FBA. So make sure that you do the cost analysis. So to see, okay, what do you end up receiving? What's the most beneficial way on the margin perspective, but also take into account that Amazon prefers FBA shipments over FBM, so fulfilled by merchant shipments. One other important piece is the returns. So if you work in multiple countries, you have to offer a local return address for the consumers. So a French consumer need to, if they want to return the product, ship it back to a French return address. If you're not able to offer this, then you're required to offer free returns. So if in that case people are all across Europe returning your products back to you, it can be a really tough one for your end results, of course. Then the customer service, make sure that you are able to offer the local language customer support for the different marketplaces and the countries. Really, marketplaces have customer experience on top of their KPIs, and yeah, if you don't offer the support and meet the requirements and the KPIs that they set, then you're going to drop in ranking. So that's super important. So when the fundament is there, you can really start working with the marketplaces itself, and that is the content and listing. So be aware that it's a per country setup. So for example, Amazon, if you have Amazon Germany, Amazon France, it needs to be set up as a singular marketplace. So your listings, your content, your A+ content, but also make sure that you have your brand registry. So this means that you tell the marketplace, hey, I'm the one, or my partner is the one that is the administrator of the content. So this way you assure that all the listings are according to your guidelines and that a third-party seller cannot really interfere with it, so that you really protect your brands. And then make sure that you localize everything. So make sure that you translate all the text, but also the images that you use. If they have text on the image, make sure that you also translate this to the local market. And finally, then it all begins, the marketplace management. So that's the day-to-day operation and doing the business on marketplaces. Super important, paid ads. Without advertising, it's not gonna fly. You're gonna end up in the 5th page and nobody's gonna buy there. So you need to be promoting your products to make them visible and to convert them eventually. Then you need to have your pricing always to be on top of it. So make sure that you stay competitive, because this is obviously a dynamic point. Everyone tries to win the buy box if you sell the same products. So be on top of it. Then the promotional part, we have Black Friday just recently, but there's also many other events like Prime Day. And yeah, make sure that you, if you're able to, that you can join these events, because this can be a really good boost for your business. And overall, have a healthy account so that you respect all the KPIs, because this helps you in the overall ranking of your products. So these are the building blocks. A lot of information, and I can imagine it might also be a bit overwhelming if you want to start this whole journey. But this is really the case, and this is really what you have to consider to do it properly and do it professionally. But the good news is that there's also an alternative way to get set up and avoid all those challenges and headaches. And that's by working with a merchant of record like us. A merchant of record basically manages your marketplace business end to end. So you ship the products in bulk to one of our warehouses, and we represent and sell your brands on the marketplaces that we together defined. So basically, we cover all the different topics that we just discussed. We help you with the right strategy, but then also the whole execution, and we cover the whole compliance, the VAT, the operational part, and the financial part. Yeah, it's basically a full infrastructure that we offer, so that you don't have to set up this infrastructure yourself, and that you avoid those significant upfront investments that you will face. So the infrastructure consists of a full team that manages the marketplaces on a day-to-day on the different areas like content, like advertising, listing, operations. So this is really managed on a day-to-day business. Then it's operating from 2 warehouses, depending on the scope that we will have, but we have 1 warehouse in Germany and 1 in the Netherlands. We do have our VAT registrations across whole EU, so all the brands we work with don't need to register for 1 VAT, so that's a big benefit. Also, the EPR, which was one of the main challenges, is something that we will cover. We have the registrations, and if we work with a new brand, we add this brand to our registration. So everything is happening compliantly, but you don't have to go through this administrative jungle, let's say. Then the whole IT infrastructure, I showed the tech stack that you will need to have. The minimum annual running costs are around 30K. So it's nice that you don't have to do this because we already have this within our service offering. Then we do have our seller accounts on all the different platforms that are already active. Bear in mind, opening a seller account on Amazon Pan-EU is already taking 4 to 6 months because the KYC is super painful. But because it's over 10 countries that you're gonna open up, that's also the reason why. So if you have no time to waste, there's also another way. And then there's the Operator One Suite, which is basically the dashboard that we offer to showcase, to give you basically the full transparency on what we're doing and to be on top of all the developments. I will showcase in a bit how it looks like. So for all the brands here, but in general, all the brands that are considering or already sure to want to open up European marketplaces, there are 2 options. You can do it in-house or with a partner like us. The brands that work with us, they did it because it's just much faster. We are going live within 4 to 8 weeks in those marketplaces that you have in scope. But it's also cheaper because you avoid all the investments of IT. You don't have to hire additional people. No VAT, no EPR. But on top also, you don't have to go through the whole learning curve of working with those marketplaces. And especially Amazon can be a challenging one. So that's basically the model that we offer. To give you a bit of an insight, all those brands that we work with, we equip them with the Operator One Suite, which is basically your cockpit on the European marketplace business. And it has all the modules that you want to have. So it has real-time insights on your orders, the revenues. You can see the advertising data and the main KPIs. You see in real time, okay, how many units are still in the Operator One warehouse, but also in an Amazon warehouse. And we will send you proactively replenishment orders. So based on the MOQ, the lead time, the sales velocity, but also the months that we want to cover, we will send you a notification like, hey, this unit we need, and this way we avoid all the manual stuff that's going back and forth. And we are sure that we're never out of stock because this is something that you want to avoid for sure. On top, you can see if you're winning the buy box in case you're competing against other sellers. And there's also a way to reprice your offers so you're winning the buy box the next time. There's a return section where you can see, okay, how many returns do we get, but also what's the reason for those returns. And everything that you see in the dashboard is exportable, so you can use it for your own internal reporting. Good. Then I want to round it off with a real life client case. And I guess most of you, well, if you like darts at least, but I guess most UK companies are aware of at least Luke Littler and the whole darts craziness that is about to start, I guess, yesterday. However, Target, one of our clients that needed operator one to open up marketplaces. So what was the case? Target, obviously a UK company, but didn't have any operations in Europe. So what they did, they wanted to open up Amazon, and that's what they did all in-house. So they set it up and they ship the products in bulk to Amazon FBA, and that's a way to make it happen. However, all the non-Amazon marketplaces were out of scope because they couldn't really manage those, because most of them require an EU entity or an EU warehouse at least. But the unfortunate part was that the darts community is really big in the Benelux. So in Europe as a whole, it's in Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, and in Denmark. But they were missing the main marketplace in Benelux, which is bol.com. On top, they didn't have the resources and the knowledge to deal with all the non-Amazon marketplaces. So that's why they started working with us, because their goal is to basically be present everywhere where the customer wants to buy it. And on top of that, to be represented on all the different marketplaces, it really helps you in your brand visibility and growing your business overall. What we did, we had a phase 1 and phase 2. So the main priority was bol.com. We started with the top 100 bestsellers, and we listed those products on Bol Belgium and in the Netherlands. After a few months, they wanted to expand even more. So then we added 3 countries and a couple of marketplaces, and we doubled up the number of SKUs to 200 in total. We opened up Germany, we opened up France and Poland. In all countries, we additionally opened Decathlon, because that's one of the main sports marketplace, but also the local heroes for each country. So in Poland, it's Allegro. In Germany, there was Kaufland, and in France, it was Cdiscount, just to make sure that you capture all the demand of where the consumers basically buy your products. And the results were quite staggering, because it's a really nice brand, especially during this time of the year. But straight off the bat, we reach 5-digit sales on a monthly basis, but month over month, we're growing like 80%. So that's really significant. And their goal was, be present everywhere where the client wants to buy. And this is a way how we partner up with specifically a UK brand for the European marketplaces. So this is it from my end, and I think we can now move into, before we stop, go into the Q&A. If you have questions, want to know more, you can reach out to me, just send me an email or scan the QR. And for all the attendees here, we want to offer a free marketplace potential check. So for you to understand, okay, what are the potential margins that we can make within the different marketplaces? We can share data on the category. So what are the competitors? What is the price point? What are the top sellers? We can do some search volume analysis and eventually build a whole business case for you to understand, hey, how does the overall project looks like if we would get started in this and that country and this and that marketplace, with a full P&L for you to understand, okay, bottom line, this is somewhere that we can expect if we would be going live within this scope. Now it's really the end of my presentation, and I think we can move into the Q&A. I see a lot is dropping in, but it's now up to Lorna to select those questions that are coming up.
Sure. Yeah, there was a few bits going on in the chat while you were talking. Thank you for that whistle stop tour of Europe. Definitely sounds like there's a few challenges, which we saw with the poll that we put up at the start. So that's great. Yeah, we had Victoria saying she really hopes that Operator One can help out with a lot of those challenges, which you nicely presented the fact that you can help. So that was music to quite a lot of people's ears. We did have a question, kind of a general one, actually, from Sandra saying, do you think it's too late to be an FBA seller on Amazon now? Possibly a difficult one to answer, a bit too general, I don't know, but what are your thoughts on that?
No, I would never say it's too late, of course. No, in general, it's always the case. There are always existing sellers, existing brands, but the market is evolving. So the people are like the consumer market is growing. More and more people are using the marketplaces. So there's always a place for a good offer and good products. So it's never too late. No.
Excellent. Okay. And then we've got another one on pallets. So we are VAT registered in the UK and Germany, and we're shipping pallets with food, which is dry fruit, is the
Okay.
food that they mean. And they're having issues they're finding it challenging after Brexit. So do you guys get involved with that at all?
We know food is more challenging. We do sell some edibles, but we know the compliance piece is really strict when it comes to these. When it's dried, it's much favorable compared to perishable products, of course. Um, but yeah, it's something that we can do, or in general is possible. But yeah, I don't know if there's a specific question around this, but yeah, in general, I would say it's not a no-go, but make sure that you tackle all the relevant pieces for your category.
Yeah, perhaps an online conversation, just to get a bit more detail on that.
Yeah.
Uh, do you have any shipping companies that you would recommend for Germany or France in particular?
So yeah, we all know the carriers, but we have the UPS, the FedEx, the DPDs. So for country specific, you can also select those carriers that make the most sense. But it depends also on your products that you're selling. So some carriers are a bit more high end, some are more affordable, but you can expect a bit more damages.
Yeah.
It's a trade-off for everyone. So, what is the cost if you lose a package and compared to the pricing you pay? So it's
Mhm.
always a case-by-case approach. But yeah, in each country you also have the domestic carriers. For example, PostNL in the Netherlands, it's a good carrier, I would say. Everyone makes mistakes, that's for sure. But you should see it as overall, are they performing on a general level that we expect, but also when it comes to marketplaces KPIs. So make sure that you reach those lead times that you set, because that's really important.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with marketplaces, right? They're really hot on that one. Um, Not sure if this is one for the conversation or whether it needs to go offline, but can you talk about pricing policy or payment terms? Or is that a separate conversation?
No, there's no problem. So I'm not sure what the direction is, but when it comes to setting the prices on marketplaces, the brands we work with are always in control. So they give us the price range that we work with. And if the product shouldn't be sold below 30 euros, we will never do so. So this way, you're always in control. When it comes to the fee structure that we have, yes, we work with a revenue share and a retainer, a monthly retainer. The revenue share is 5%, and the monthly retainer is dependent on the scope. So how many countries, marketplaces, and products are we going to sell? So this is also a case-by-case offer, but happy to dive into a specific situation. Just send me an email and we can see what it means for you.
Sure. Thank you. Oh, this one's from me, from Jessica. Do different countries require different barcodes, or will GS1 barcode work across the world? Yeah, it's a global standard. So you have one product with one barcode, and then that will work on any platform in any country that you are hoping to sell that to. So that's an easy answer, hopefully. What else we've got? Got a couple more pinging in for the case study. Let's have a look. Case study was great, very topical, because obviously the UK going starts mad at Christmas. It's become one of our Christmas traditions. certainly in my house anyway. My husband is dark mad. So
Oh, okay.
what we got the case
He's in the
study,
Luke Littler trousers,
of
in the
course.
shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
loves a bit of Luke Litter, and also Michael van Gerwen. How can you not love him?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
There's a lot of Dutch fans in our family for sure. So it says I for the case study and in general, I suppose it's one thing being present, but roughly how much is needed to spend on ads? Otherwise, no one will find you without paid marketing. Great question
Yeah.
from Pamela.
Yeah. Again, case by case, but yeah, of course, advertising is really important because otherwise you're not going to be visible in the first place. As a basis, it also depends on the number of products, of course. It depends on the category. It depends on your brand awareness. But at least have a budget of 1,500 euros per month per country available to promote the products. So that's the bare minimum because yeah, it's a competitive market. It's a pay to play game basically. If we talk about Amazon, Bol.com has significant less traffic, so your ad spend is going less fast. So for this, I would say between 750 and 1,000 euro, you should allocate for advertising. But some marketplaces even don't have advertising options. So then it's just yeah, based on your content and your brand and the products. And then the marketplace will order the ranking by themselves.
Great, thank you. This is similar to one that I was going to ask you actually, but as an SME, is there a particular marketplace for like garden that you would recommend? They're looking at a slow rollout though. So, but
Yeah.
what would you say is the first marketplace to go with for a garden brand?
So Garden is big on the generic marketplaces always. So the Bol, Amazon, Cdiscount, those are the ones that I would say, okay, yeah, they already have significant volume in this category, but there are also marketplace specific uh, platforms. So for example, Leroy Merlin, it's in France in the southern part of Europe that is really focusing on more DIY, outdoor garden. So that could be a really good one. Also Mano Mano, Germany and France, that's also a platform that I could recommend.
Yeah, great suggestions there. And
And of course, there's yeah, you have the Horenbach, Obi, those DIY stores always have a garden section. So more and more retailers are becoming marketplaces. Also, Praxis Brico in the Benelux. So yeah, this is there's many out there.
yep, that's another one that we're seeing in the UK. The retailers becoming marketplaces with DIY. So B&Q, which is the DIY store here, they've recently launched as a marketplace
Yeah,
as well. So yeah, it's definitely interest for that
it's a
sector
new
for sure.
model
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
them.
So if as the operator one merchant of record model, do you have an Amazon vendor account or you seller account?
No, that's a good question. Our model is typically focused on a 3P, so a seller model. If there, we do have brands that we also support on vendor. If they have their own vendor account, we can um, optimize it and run it on a day-to-day business. But as an additional service to the seller model that we offer, the merchant of record.
Okay, yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. And the second part of that is, do you supply to business customers as well, like resellers or retailers in the EU, or would you just be consumers for the brand?
Yeah, so eventually the end consumers are the buyers of the products, but obviously many SMEs purchase their products also on Amazon, yeah, because they don't have the negotiation power to buy directly with the manufacturers, for example. So eventually, yeah, we serve B2B, but also B2C.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, I think there was a bit of more conversation on the thing with the pallets, but I think Andre has been answering a few of those in terms of labeling requirements. So I think we're good to go on that one. Let me see if there's any more. We got one here. Oh no, it's the same question. We've got that. Thank you. Yes, that's hopefully we've answered that already. Um, oh, this one's for me. I saw the word GS1. Next question. We created GS1 digital link QR codes. Amazon requires all products to be labeled in local language. Not clear whether QR code can be replaced as standard text labeling while maintaining full label compliance. Amazon deletes it. Yeah, I would say Amazon is at its start of its journey for QR codes. I guess it depends on where is that directly on the product that you're putting that or on the outer cases? Because yeah, they are at the start of the journey. So I wouldn't remove anything at this stage. But it's definitely something that's coming. That is the point of using digital link and QR codes is to be able to put a lot of the content that can go behind the QR code. But there will always be certain elements because of accessibility and stuff. It needs to still have some of the information on the pack itself. Yeah, on the packaging. So yeah, it might be one to delve into it a little bit more, but it's something we're heading towards, but we're not quite there yet. Obviously, we need to get all of the retailers and all of the brands using it. That's why we've got Ambition 2027. So something we're working on, but happy to pick that up. Let's discuss that in a bit more detail.
Yeah, but also it gives the opportunity to offer like the manuals for the
Yeah.
products digitally. So that's a really game changer for dealing in the different countries.
Yeah, absolutely. That was its initial use case, actually. That was like pharmaceutical products because everyone gets like the pack of paracetamol, right? And no one reads that leaflet. But equally, if you buy it here and it's in the wrong language for you, you can't read it, even if you wanted to. So, being able to do away with that packaging, but also translate it into a different language that the user needs it in was literally the first use case for that. So,
Yeah,
yeah, hopefully we see that a lot more around the world.
indeed.
What we got? Labeling compliance is important for the EU and any other expansion. Yep, for sure. Um, I would like to check with you about labeling. If we supply to multiple EU countries, does the label need to be in a particular local language, or can we supply a product with the label in English to EU countries? I guess it depends on. So we're talking about the dried
Well,
fruit here, right? I think because yeah,
yeah, but in
might need
general,
a
make
bit
sure that your
more.
labeling is in line with the country language.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously food is a little bit different because you've got the allergens piece that is there, but yeah, it's dependent on the product that you've got of what you can remove. Um, okay, what we got?
Yeah, we do have a partner that we can refer you to that can really advise on the labeling and the whole compliancy piece, but really specifically on your category. That's not our expertise, so we don't want to
Yeah,
advise wrongly, but we can point you in the right direction.
yeah, same. Sandra, do I need to be a registered business for me to be registered with you?
No. So that's one of the main advantages. Well, a registered business in the UK, yes. So we don't deal with yeah, consumer
Yeah,
straight.
yeah.
So we need to have a business entity to invoice to as well.
Okay, lovely. And Victoria said she's booked in a call for the 22nd December. Okay, nice.
Just before Christmas, looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
she's keen to get started. I love it. No Christmas,
Nice.
no Christmas respite for Victoria. That brain's going to be ticking all over Christmas. I love that. Okay. Right. What time are we on? We have a little bit more time, but it seems like the questions have slowed down, so I think we might be there. Any more for any more? Otherwise, we will wrap up. As I mentioned, you will get an email with the recording and the slides. Our final slide here is QR codes. Of course, we wouldn't be the barcode company without QR codes. But these actually take you to sign up for our newsletters because this is where we talk about various webinars like the one we are on at the moment. Hopefully that's where you saw it. If not, and you're not signed up, please do. And then that way you can be informed of all of our webinars that we've got coming up as we push them out. Because we do a lot of these, definitely a marketplace specific one every month. So always good to stay on top of those. But otherwise, if you've got no more questions, thank you to everybody for joining. Thank you for your questions. And of course, thank you to Jan for giving us that insightful bit on expanding to Europe.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me again, and nice to see all the engagement of yeah, all the signups. So that's good. Hopefully, we have helped you a bit on understanding what's out there,
Yeah,
and yeah, looking forward to get in touch, at least with Victoria and maybe other people as well.
Yeah, you'll have to let us know how that conversation goes. That'd be really nice.
Sure.
Great. Right. Have a good day, everybody, and enjoy the darts and have a good Christmas.
Yes. Okay.
I'll see you later. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Bye bye.
Bye.